remote island of Mafia off the east coast of Tanzania lies Kisiwa Farming Limited. Here, farming meets with engineering, resulting in something powerful, a major milestone for Mafia Island and the move to renewable energy-based power supply for a prime tourist destination in Tanzania. This is part of the UN-supported effort to bring inclusive renewable energy to islands on the East African coast.
This project focuses on bioenergy, so we utilize biomass as an energy source, and we efficiently convert that to electricity and heat, and a biochar that we then use in our composting and farming processes.
Hello and welcome to the program. This week on Turning the Spotlight, we're so excited to be here on Mafia Island, whereby we'll be looking at the possibilities on renewable energy, and I will be talking to the director of Kisiwa Farming. Please stay with us. Welcome to the program, Darius. Please begin by introducing yourself.
My name is Darius Bosov. I'm a chemical engineer and I am managing director of Kisiwa Farming here on Mafia Island, where we are building the first bioenergy plant by gasification using the spanner technology.
What is the project about for someone who is new to the whole idea on renewable energy?
So this project focuses on bioenergy. So we utilize biomass as an energy source, and we efficiently convert that to electricity and heat, and a biochar that we then use in our composting and farming processes. The feedstock that we use is a sustainably grown and blended feedstock with some of our sawmill residues and our coconut processing residues, which come from our coconut oil plant, also on the same site.
Well, before we actually go further into the interview, could you please tell us how the area was before you actually settled here and you were able to install this plant?
There was a bioenergy plant that was built by some farmers, relatives of the old Henry Stanley, that built a plant called Ngombeni Power, which is a steam cycle with a turbine that utilizes the same biomass to produce electricity. Unfortunately, that plant broke down in 2017 and new investment was sought, and we made that possible with the new technology that we brought, and we are revitalizing that process that focuses on rejuvenating coconut farms and in the same process generate affordable and baseload electricity for Mafia Island.
How does the technology actually work?
Gasification works very similar to combustion, except that you don't supply it with excess air. You throttle back the air, and the smoldering coals basically produce a gas, like a fuel gas, which we call wood gas, and that then gets burnt in a efficient combustion engine, like a petrol engine. The engine you'll see here is very similarly sized to a V8 8-liter engine, and it runs for 8 to 8,300 hours a year. So efficiently converting the wood gas energy into electrical energy.
How much electricity are we talking about here, and how is this going to benefit the island?
So Mafia currently needs about 1.5 megawatts and baseload energy around 800 kilowatts, of which we are going to supply 650 in our first phase, and we can then expand depending on TANESCO's needs to supply the balance of the electricity. So we see this as a very long-term investment and process. We're very well positioned for this, as we have all the grid connection and metering infrastructure already in place and a good working relationship with TANESCO. We have our first unit, so the first 650 kilowatt is based up of modular units, and the unit I'm standing next to is our first one that we commissioned in August here on Mafia Island. So currently we are testing different mixes, so coconut shell, coconut wood, offcuts, as well as farm clearing and preparation biomass, which is the coppice variety. Yeah, that's what our current fuel is and what our sustaining fuel going forward would be. So we have for quite a large plant size, we've got a sustainable feed supply ad infinitum as the biomass is regrown and reprocessed in the plant.
And its environmental impact, how do you see that?
So the studies that have been done bolster the case for afforestation, where we manage forests instead of letting them wane, and we prevent uncontrolled degradation of these old plantations where the trees are, as they are currently senile and producing very low coconut amounts. We come in and we actually enable a proper arbor process where these forests are cherished and maintained. So our process is really a foresting process and a forest maintenance process, which includes the coconut plantations. We've already planted 3,000 coconut seedlings and over 600,000 coconut trees of the coppice variety, which have been tested by Nkumbeni Power over the past 5 years.
Moving out here was such a bold move from you. How daunting was it for you?
It was quite daunting. Fortunately, I had the solid support from my wife and now my young daughter, and that made it all the more worthwhile. And we have a passion for Mafia Island and for creating this sort of inclusive processing and production environment. The links to industrialization for local value add on Mafia of some very good products such as coconut oil and different types of coconut wood. We really have a passion for that, and I see that as having a big impact, both on the employment side and on the environment side. So we see ourselves as custodians of that and making it possible. So yeah, I think over the past 2 years with Corona, it has not been easy, but yeah, we've pushed through and persevered, and we've got some good partners in the likes of the Stanleys, UNIDO, the Atmosphere, which is a fund from Germany, and our partners Energy Drop in South Africa.
What other products come out of this project?
At the end of the process, which I'll show you a bit later, we produce a biochar, which has all the minerals in from the original wood, and that we farm back into the plantations. So we keep it a circular process, and that has some carbon capture benefits. Then from the power plant itself, we produce heat, and that heat I will show you a bit later. We've got a big dryer where we dry our feedstock, as well as have heat available for drying our copra product and some wood planks, which we now have established a market for in South Africa and abroad, where it is registered as a sustainable building material, as it is coming from old wood stock that has to be replaced for farming purposes. We can offset the very sensitive hardwood types that are coming out of the deep jungles all over, which has been a problem. And so it really rings to the sustainability of the project on every front. And so it's really done by design to be in that way. And using the heat is then therefore a very good benefit to us, where most power plants don't use that heat. Similarly, from the Kisiwa farming point of view, we produce coconut oil. We are looking into some grow media production, which we have a lot of coconut husks to do that, as well as products like activated carbon. But we've got a very long strategy for that, those processing plants, as the production capacity increases. So we see this as a really revolutionary approach to coconut agroforestry in Tanzania.
Why is it that it has been possible for you? Well, you find that this is a local product that hasn't been utilized previously.
I think there is actually production happening on small scales, distributed production, and it really is kept in the informal market, unfortunately. So I believe it's a form of education, hampering the market there, and then really having been in the formal large-scale processing industry, as I'm a chemical engineer, I have that background, and I just see very many times few business people actually take the time and effort to invest in these types of areas. So we work very well with local producers and local farmers. Our aim is really to help local farmers also to grow their product and be able to give them a better offering for nuts, as we can benefit the whole fruit. So a lot of nuts the residues are just burnt. Similar, it's really a habit reforming process, and sometimes you only understand these technologies and these processes and these concepts once you zoom out and you have that ability to do that. So we're very happy to play our little part in making that visible and for future replication by others.
What is the connection between environmental conservation and the project that you guys are actually doing? Because I'm seeing that you're using locally sourced raw materials.
A lot of work has been done on cook stoves and the energy production from that. Biomass is widely used in Tanzania, and it is a renewable source. When it is overused or if it's not properly managed, it becomes a problem. So and it actually added to that the fact that a lot of the old cooking methodologies are very inefficient. Cooking with electricity that is made way more efficiently is a good way to make that happen, especially also when that electricity is done at a scale where you can properly manage the areas you are getting your feedstock from. So I think from that point of view, the environmental link, we cherish and maintain the habitats of many species, birds, little buck and elephant shrews, which are all over the island. We even have hippos on Mafia Island. We cherish that from an environmental conservation point of view. We don't operate in the wetland areas, and we have certain areas that are completely off limits for farming, which really actually puts back into nature more than the old farmers might have been. So it's really important to look at, when you've got farmland, you want to use it efficiently as farmland, and then if you've got land that is better suited for natural forests or for other crops, they are employed to that. So the challenge really becomes when people start taking out existing forests for farming. It is done and it will always be done, but the challenge is that when there are existing farms, those should actually be properly managed. And that's really the key in the cycle that we are bringing into place now. I think there's a lot of learning across the field, and a lot of partnerships being formed, and we hope to see it through all the way.
Which other way do you guys use to rein in the community so they're behind you?
We have a lot of subcontractors on coconut harvesting site where we still have younger coconut trees. We then also engage during COVID. We were actually involved with the COVID relief or COVID sanitation programs, and in many cases we supply wood to schools for desks, etc. Apart from that, we see going forward that waste management on Mafia might benefit from this technology, where we can add a capacity of waste disposal, which would be something that we need to test properly before we go into. But there has been work done on it, and it is possible. So going forward, I believe sustainably the best thing to do is long-term employment, because that allows families to grow, and we've also diversified our staff portfolio. We've employed a lot more women, especially in the coconut oil industry, which they are so much more used to. And we're really trying to do the best we can on all those fronts.
What do you see the future of renewable energy in Tanzania?
I think there's a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of need, and I think it'll always be a mix of different types of energy. I think bioenergy has a very unique value proposition, from the use of heat, from the baseload power aspect, from the employment aspect and getting local energy produced. And then obviously waste management, and where you've got agri energy or agri wastes, agricultural wastes, that is a key value offering. And so we see that as being a mix going forward for ourselves here and for Tanzania as a whole.
Last word to other industrial partners out there on actually being able to produce what they produce, but please not forgetting the environment.
I think if you look at something and you start thinking around implementing a project, as long as you make sure that you don't leave a stone unturned. I think a lot of times we really jump into something very quickly without looking at all the options, and I think starting small is a good thing, like we did here. Start small, build the momentum. You need a lot of dedication, you need a lot of effort. Sometimes I might feel that it's worthless and people don't appreciate it, but pushing through and actually producing, because words are cheap, but deeds and showing what you can do is really the way to convince people.
My name is Robert Washija. I'm a national project coordinator working with UNIDO in Tanzania. I'm implementing a project on the waste to energy application in the agro industry in Tanzania. And in Tanzania, UNIDO is working together with the Vice President Office and the Minister of Energy and the other stakeholders to implement this project. And we are working together with Jeff, who is our donor funder. And in the country, this project main objective is to address challenges both on the energy sectors as well as in the environment. And we are specifically looking at the industrial sector as our mandate for industrial development to take off lead of the resources streams which are coming from industry applications. And these resources which we can be able to use to generate energy in the form of electricity. So working together with these all stakeholders, we are able to unlock challenges we have faced from the recent years of power disruption, inefficient, to be able to generate and build up or adding onto the grid electricity.
We're here at the Spanner RE2 GmbH in Bavaria, Germany. My name is Matthias von Senft and I'm responsible for international sales. Our expertise in biomass CHP, out of wood chips like this, we can generate electricity and heat at the same time. It is a thermochemical process where we gain a syngas, and that syngas is then being used in a combustion engine which drives a generator. Since the machine is stationary, we're able to recuperate a fair bit of the heat that's being generated as well, and use that, for example, for drying or for district heating, and also to convert it into coldness, for chilling something. We stand for is to make renewable energies competitive. So our machines always consist of two components. One is the biomass and waste gasifier, which produces the syngas, and then the second unit, which is even on a different skid, that is the engine and the generator to generate the electricity and the heat. We offer also an energy block, which means that we've got both components very compact in a sea container. So it's a plug and play application. With our machinery, our customers can gain lower energy prices, both for electricity and heat. And that energy is also being generated by local resources and local manpower. Here in Germany, our customers use, for example, residues and wastes from sawmills and also roadside vegetation. All of that is being sourced locally, so we do not have long transportation and therefore transportation costs. And also the labor, local labor is being used to actually create employment with our machinery. We are the global market leader in this field of technology. We've got more than 900 machines out worldwide, all of them with a very good ratio of price and performance. With our technology, we can reduce the fuel costs, even of diesel gensets, immensely. Using our technology would lead to a return of invest of less than 12 months. In order to reduce these fuel costs even more, we can use residues from sawmills, briquetted sawdust, cotton stalks, and even plastic waste combined with wood chip. Using residues or wastes in our machines, in our technology, of course, has to be in accordance to local rules and regulations. We think that the decentralized generation of energy will become more and more important globally. To the challenge of waste and plastics in our world today, we think that our technology can be one of the key factors to solve this challenge.
We've come to the end of the program. I would like to thank all the people who have made this trip a possibility, without forgetting Kisiwa Farming, UNIDO and other stakeholders. From here in Mafia Island, this has been Turning the Spotlight. Thank you for watching and bye-bye.